What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho. I am the one-armed madman. And with me tonight, he's got a normal-sized C-, no tall can tonight. It's Nolan 5150. What's up, brother?
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Just getting prepped for another week in Milwaukee next week. Going back to training.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good old Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna destroy yourself this time, or are you gonna try and keep it under wraps?
Plan is to keep it under wraps. You know, I really didn't plan on accidentally falling on my face the first time, but you know, shit happens. So.
Well, luckily you became a legend on your first trip, and now you can just ride it out. You don't have to like up yourself one more. You can just be like, hey, you know,
people know me
all
there.
know how I do things. Yeah, it's like, you know how I do things. People know me. All right. Well, I decided we were going to do another climate change episode this week because it's like all the podcasts I watch is just Israel, Palestine 24/7. And it's getting a little tiresome. Like at this point, like
they're just trying to make us forget about
out.
They're trying to make us forget about the Ukraine money, man. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but Time Magazine put out a big article this week saying that Zelensky's delusional, and everybody around him thinks he's delusional. They can't win the war, and there's all these videos now of him like doing this type of shit, you know, and it's widely speculated that he's a cokehead, not just in like our circles at this point, but like broader circles. Like, holy shit, this guy's fucked up.
What? Well, how? What?
Somebody like a week ago, I saw the video. It wasn't worth putting on the show, but like somebody edited in a big pile of like Scarface cocaine on his desk. So he was like doing an interview, and then it like panned over to his desk, and there was this huge pile of cocaine. And then, of course, like the corporate press had to come out and be like, "That was not real cocaine. That was artificial intelligence." It's like now
Jesus,
Photoshop
man.
is artificial intelligence, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
and the fact that they acknowledge it means there's some degree of truth behind it.
Yeah. And then I just heard a few minutes ago, I haven't looked into this at all yet, but one of the like top generals or top military officials in the Ukrainian whatever army had just said some pretty bad things about Zelensky. Just kind of the same thing. Like, the guy's delusional. We can't win this fight. Like, I think the average fighting age of a soldier right now in Ukraine is like 46, which is just crazy. Like, they're pulling old people off the street. You know, people like disabled people are now fighting in the war. And that guy ended up dead this week. Somebody snuck a grenade into one of his birthday presents. It was like a birthday present with glass grenades. One of them was real. Fucking killed him. Put his kid in the hospital. His kid's still in critical condition.
I'm sure that was totally an accident.
Yeah, dude. This is this Nazi faction. You know, the Azov Brigade. They want this fight. They do not want. And I'm convinced that they have, you know, either been in the room or on a call with Zelensky and just been like, hey, look, buddy, if you want to get out of this thing alive, you keep this fight going. Mm-hmm. These Nazis aren't fucking around. Like, these are serious, horrible, bad people. And they've wanted this fight for a long time. So it's interesting, you know, a couple of things died on the day of this terrorist attack beside, you know, women and children. It was Lahaina and Ukraine. You know, I guarantee the person who took that news worse than anybody in the world right now was Vladimir Zelensky. He just must have been looking at his phone and be like, oh, come on. But the CIA said they were on my side. How is this happening now? So anyways, we were going to do another climate change episode, but I didn't want to do 2 climate change episodes in one. I'm having a rough fucking week. It's been a rough week here in the Meyer compound. Every once in a while, my hand just goes fucking crazy for a few days. And I think it has something to do with the temperature change at this point. But man, it's like every once in a while I forget like how hard I worked at getting comfortable on a dirt bike. Like, suspension settings, different tires, whatever, different handlebars. I did titanium everything on the bike to stiffen it up, and you still like don't really feel all that comfortable. And I kind of get a little bit like bitchy about riders now. Oh, the bike's not there. And it's like, dude, the bikes are incredible. Just ride the fucking bike. And then I go through this where like I've been on my controller, like I don't even know how many times in the last week, just going from one setting to another, we'll go 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. We'll go 1 minute on, and I just can't find the right setting. And you just sit here like all day. I've been sweating hot, the arms freezing. So I didn't really want to do another episode today, but I take this shit seriously, even though nobody's watching. So we'll mix it up, and I've got some fun videos. We'll do a little bit of war stuff, but I've got some fun videos we'll watch today. So one of my favorites, public intellectuals, and what a, bullshit, ridiculous term, but one of my favorites is Neil Degrass Tyson, because he's just such a moron. Like, for a smart guy, he's just such a fucking moron. So he went on Bill Maher last week and just really made a fool of himself. Is the best way I can describe it in one. He just completely made a fool of himself. So let's watch this very smart man embarrass himself.
I know you think that, like, you had a thing with Martina Navratilova.
What do you mean I have nothing? What do you mean?
A beef. Well, she has beef with you.
Why does she have a beef with me?
Because you think, like, guys with dicks should get in the women's swimming pool, basically.
Well, whatever got clipped and reposted, I don't know. But what I said was that in this emergent space where you have people expressing themselves on a gender spectrum, and you want to now compete in sports, that's still a frontier to be solved. And I don't have the answer, but I can suggest one, whether or not it'll work. Maybe we don't compete by gender anymore. We compete on hormone ratios, okay? There was a woman who had uncommonly high testosterone levels, and they wanted to disqualify her because of how manly she was when she was born a woman and competing as a woman. So that's how we're going to do it.
This is
what you really want. Wait, Bill, no, I've thought this through more than you might think I have. Oh. So what you really want is an interesting contest between people who are similarly talented. The least interesting Super Bowl you could ever watch is a blowout by halftime.
See, what we agree on is...
So that's amazing that he uses a Super Bowl blowout at halftime as being the most uninteresting. Like, how do you think these swimming matches are ending? They're not even close. I love how he calls it. It's a new frontier. It's like Star Trek. We're entering the final frontier. It's wild. It's emerging space. Oh, it's just a beautiful thing. Let's continue. Do you have anything, or should we continue with this?
Let's continue.
Whoa.
Email. And we agree on is that there are anomalies in human nature, whereas,
yes.
The vast majority of people, I'm sorry, are still male or female. And certainly every cell in our body is dictating one of those other sexes. I mean, obviously...
Well, the hormones are.
Yeah. Obviously also I make sperm and other people make eggs.
That's what hormones do. Yeah.
You can't deny that. Okay. So but as liberals, I think, agree that, there are anomalies in nature, and they should be respected and protected.
I love that. They need to be respected and protected, like they're a public park or something. And so many of our problems can be explained from like that sentence right there. It's essentially like some white liberal, male or female, most of the time female, going, "Hey, that's wrong. Somebody should do something."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that somebody is the government. Let's call in the government. They need to do something. We have to protect these beautiful, delicate little flowers. They want to, it's a female that wants to beat or a male that wants to beat the shit out of a female, but it's a delicate little flower.
So instead of like he was saying, compete based off of your hormone or levels or whatever.
Yeah.
If if that, I don't understand why, if that's how they want it to be, where you can just say you identify as whatever and that's what you get to compete in. The simple solution in my mind would be to just everybody compete against everybody, just see who the fastest is. End of story.
Why
and
not?
Then
That's what we do in motocross.
and then we'll see who ends up in the
This is
finals.
like a man, but this is like a man sport type of thing where we're like, yeah, who gives a shit who's in it? Like, let us beat the shit out of them. If they really want to participate, we'll embarrass them and they'll go start their own league. What really kills me is like Republicans and conservatives going, this is just, we have to change this. And this is just horrible. And somebody should do something. You know what? Somebody should do something. And it's like, dude, this guy is your greatest cheerleader. You should be asking him to do this on the biggest platforms everywhere. Like, let's have him on Joe Rogan and say the same thing. This is great. We want public universities gone. We want this whole system abolished. We cannot have these government schools making good little drones to vote Democrat. Like, if you want to end the university system, this is your guy. Let him talk. Let him hang himself from his own rope. This is beautiful. It makes me so fucking frustrated when you watch conservatives complain about something and then just go and do the exact same thing that they're complaining about. Somebody should do something.
Yeah.
Let's get the government in, instead of like, hey, why don't we use capitalism to do, how popular is Iron Man? Iron Man, people travel all around the world to do Ironmans and triathlons and these things. Why on earth should you want to send your child to go be indoctrinated so they can hang out in a swimming pool 3 days a week? They can do that at the local rec center and then go race Ironman for something that like people actually care about. You can make money. You can get sponsorships. You can make a career out of being an athlete. Like this, I need to go to college and play sports is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Like, and just to be clear, like, I think that is probably at this point, like my little brother's a very good hockey player. Very good hockey player. And if I was him, yeah, I'd go to college and play hockey. Why the fuck not? Like, you'd have a blast. Maybe you could go get a degree in engineering or something like that and do like an actual real job where you can, do something cool, go make airplane parts, make dirt bike parts, So there are, I think, situations where I guess it's worth going. If you're a pro level hockey player, I mean, what else are you really going to do at this point? But this is exactly my argument. Go make something else to where, why is it that they have to go to college to progress further than Pee Wee? Like make a private league that's, we have the Idaho Steelheads here, which is like a semi-pro team, and they sell out, not sell out, but I mean, they sell a lot of tickets. They're making a profit. These guys are getting paid to play hockey.
Yeah, but you're not making the big bucks, and I mean, it's like Kobe got drafted right out of high school, right? If you are at that level, and the professional leagues think you can hack it, you can skip that. And I think honestly, I think college is a lot better development wise for athletics than it is for education, honestly. So
and we should change that. Like we should have areas for developing athletics further than having to go and get a fucking English lit major, be an English lit major in fucking college while you're playing hockey, knocking people's teeth out. It's stupid, like as long as you can give an interview, like you're good. And so I don't know. I think this is a lot of.
They took over the classroom, and now they're coming for the athletics. That's all it is.
Sure. I mean, and the big athletics aren't. This isn't going to change. It's not like we're going to make a replacement for the NCAA tomorrow. Like, the tournament is going to be big. no matter what you do. But smaller sports like swimming and cycling and these
Dude, did you see
sports that really nobody cares about except the people doing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Motocross. Nobody gives a shit about motocross. It shouldn't be a college sport.
Dude, did you see I think it was field hockey? There was some dude playing in a women's field hockey college game and slung a shot and knocked some chick's teeth out.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. As long as it's in college, bring it on. Let's enjoy ourselves a little bit. All right, let's continue.
But this attempt to reorganize all of society around what a very tiny percentage, who again we can protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis. What the fuck? I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. We have no idea what this child is. I mean, that seems to be where you want to go. I mean, like, how many people fit this description that we should reorganize sports around? Sports we have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we...
I think they get 1 point.
You know, you could at least let them have one.
Come on.
You know, a fast break or something. I'd just like to add that Neil deGrasse Tyson is visually uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, he's twirling his drink. He's just sitting there like, how the hell am I going to toe this line? Like, he knows the script.
Yep.
He knows what he's supposed to say. And he doesn't want to have a contentious interview because, I mean, he is kind of a contentious guy. Like, he pushes back and he's really a blowhard. So I think he has a really hard time just like letting somebody speak without just... He interrupts. He does this fucking thing. So it's just wild that you can see he's like just visually uncomfortable with the situation.
Protect and respect people who do not fit into it.
Let's segregate society between dark-skinned people and light-skinned people because that nature made it that way, and that's how it is. So
yeah, let's just bring it back to race.
Yeah.
You know, everything's about race. Why not? Hey, if you think that a man is not allowed to beat the shit out of a woman, knock her fucking teeth out with a field hockey stick, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Well, nature did make it that way.
You are...
And it's not segregating.
Well, there was a time
segregating anything.
That attitude 150 years ago was
2 years ago. You act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
He makes it sound like Bill. Well, you know, if you had that attitude, I'd still be in chains.
Right.
That's essentially what he's saying.
Seriously,
like with that kind of attitude, I'd still be in chains. Is that what you're really advocating for? Just slaving everybody.
Yeah.
It's just such a crazy, ridiculous argument. And coming from somebody who is smart.
Dude,
you know,
yeah.
This guy knows a lot of shit about astrophysics. Like,
yeah.
I can't tell you how hard astrophysics is. Some of these books that I read, these sci-fi books, the guys just blow me away because they know so much about so many things. And you'll read, go through a chapter, and I've dealt with this, like doing my own writing. You couldn't fucking do 20 hours of research for like 2 pages of content. And it's just wild, like, to think like how much, research these guys, like, it's not like he just skated his way through college cheating like I did. Like I purposely did as little as I possibly could with still getting good grades. I didn't want to like fail out or, I had to get good grades to pass. So I needed to give myself a little bit of cushion for mistakes and stuff. But like, I didn't care. I wasn't interested in learning any of this bullshit that you have to teach me. Most of it's crap like that. Yeah. Like that's just really a waste of anybody's time to like respond to something like that. But that's the nature of fucking college classrooms today.
Trans people, that's
no,
right.
No, I'm talking about
I
black,
remember
white.
that from
I'm talking about
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860,
Lincoln was all about getting trans. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're ridiculous.
No. So
He
here,
is.
just all I'm saying is that. How about this? I'm looking at schools in Manhattan, and there's a school there, and there's built in the 20s and 30s, and there's a doorway that says boys, and a separate doorway on the other side of school that says girls. And I'm thinking,
God.
why are we doing this?
Because people are mostly boys and girls?
But why split them entering a school building?
Because they pee differently?
Because most college-age kids are horny as fuck.
No, because you know what I thought when I saw that? It's colored fountain over here, white fountain over here. That's what I thought.
How about the school was built in the 1920s, and there's no money to rebuild anything in this country?
Not only that, it's got to be like a historically protected.
They did it for
fucking
some
building or
reason.
whatever.
I mean, maybe the girls and the boys had.
Yeah, back in that day, that's you know.
They did it.
You
they did it
separated.
for a reason, and it's been there for 100 years.
Yeah.
And so now, what would he have us do? Go spend $1 million to remodel a school because it has 2 entrances? What if we just took the names, boys off one and girls off the other?
Yeah.
Then it's just a school with 2 entrances. And do you think that school even uses the boys and girls? I bet you could go there and they go, oh yeah, it says that there, but nobody really pays attention to that shit
I'm sure
anymore. We just
it
kinda all
is,
pile
yeah.
in wherever the line is. Yeah, it's so stupid. He's right. He is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. All right, I've got one more from him.
Surely there's a portfolio of jokes that would still work on a college campus. Surely.
So this one got cut. So this comes in where he's saying, surely there's a portfolio of jokes that'll still work on a college campus. Are you a comedian now too? So you're an astrophysicist. You've got a degree in women's studies. You're a biologist. So you can, check hormones for whoever's wrestling. And now he's going to tell you, hey, look, comedian guy that, how many years has Bill Maher been a comedian? 30 years, something like that. One of the best to do it, objectively. He's, got one of the top late night shows in the world. He's a funny guy. Even I don't like a lot of what he said. He is a funny guy. Here, I'm going to sit here and tell you that you need to change. You need to change your jokes so they will fit a college. I mean, what are you even complaining for? You're just an old man. Get with the times. They're telling you what you're supposed to say, and you're not saying it. That's the problem. You need to change. I mean, what if we came in and just said, hey, look, I think that calling Pluto a moon or whatever they call it now is racist. And you need to change, Mr. Astrophysicist. It needs to be back to a planet again because you're minimizing its importance to the solar system. He would go, yeah, you're crazy. You're out of your fucking mind. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's a body in the solar system.
No, he would
he would be right to say that.
Yeah, he'd be right.
You know what I
but
mean?
I don't think he'd say that. He'd say, you know what? You are right. Who are we to say Pluto's a moon?
Well, that would depend on my status as a college student, I think. If I was a college student, then maybe he'd hear out my argument. But now that I'm not,
I would hope not. From what maybe some college campuses, the ones you read about are fucking insane.
You've given up on an entire generation, and you don't know how to make them laugh.
I have given up on any place that doesn't even remotely attempt to believe in free speech and thinks that anything that they hear that they don't like, that they don't agree with, is violence. These people are fucking nuts, and you should be calling them out. Somebody like you, who has standing with kids, should be not joining them.
When there's a science objectivity to it,
you're doing what parents do. You're taking the path of least resistance, and therefore hurting the kids and yourself. Parents ruin both their lives. They ruin their fucking spoiled kids' lives, and they ruin their own lives because the kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level.
I'm feeling more like on the porch. Get off my lawn.
Really? I feel like we're in the barbershop.
Ugh. I mean, this guy is held hostage by college students, essentially. He is held hostage. The inmates are running the asylum. Somebody who 10 years ago never heard any of this crap. Guarantee you he didn't hear about any of this crap, but he probably went through some, feminist deal while he was in school. But any of this gender ideology, any of this bullshit they're talking about, he had no idea this was going on 10 years ago. And if you would have had the same conversation with him 10 years ago, he'd be like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. And that's where Bill Maher was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Bill Maher had Dennis Prager on his show, and Dennis Prager started telling him all of this stuff. And Bill Maher was just like, you're crazy. You're a crazy right-wing, Christian Jew. And you're just out of your mind. None of this stuff is happening. And a few years later, he's pulling his fucking hair out going, how are you allowing these children to destroy their own lives and civilization in the process? Like, you're enabling crazy people to do crazy things. And then explaining why they're right to think that way.
Yeah.
It's really something. It's really something. That's why this guy, he's the best. This is why you don't send your kids to college, because this is the role models that are going to be there for them to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
When you're having issues, as a young kid, finding your way in life, finding out who you are as a person, which most kids have no idea who they are and what they believe in, what they want to do with their life.
Yeah.
And if you go to somebody like that, all they're going to do is lead you down the wrong path and destroy your fucking life.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say anybody, any human, college age, 18 to whatever, 22, 24, I'd say anybody doesn't know actually like who they are, what they want to be, or anything like that. And if you do stick like with what you think or what you thought, like odds are it's only because you were very well indoctrinated by whoever raised you, or what you subscribe to. You're very committed.
Sure. And one of the main reasons I think I've ended up the way I did, is because I didn't have any positive male role models in my life past the time I was 18. My dad was a good dad while I was a kid, but then he just went off the rails on drugs as soon as I left the house. And, everybody we were around in Southern California, there was nobody there. I'd ride with Craig Westner every once in a while. He'd say, you need to get on to and Kelly every once in a while would tell me, we need to get you to these works races. We need to get you to these outdoor races, these, cross-country races. You're going to do very well in there. You need to give up this stupid motocross dream that's not going anywhere. And you could actually have a career doing this.
Yeah.
You could meet the right people. You could get a job. Like, just because, it's not like I was going to win a championship doing anything like that, but I could have been a very decent pro doing that type of stuff. And I could have made that into a job. A couple more years in the riding industry, if I could have made it a few more years, done some of those races, got some sponsorships, I could have fallen right into podcasting.
Yeah.
I missed that window by a few years. And that would have been something I was good at, especially if you're, which is not like ideally, but if you're working for like a Racer X and they go, you have talent in this area, this is what we need to do. Have you heard of a podcast before? No, you haven't. Well, this is what it is. This is why you would be good at it. And this is what we think you should do. There was nobody in my life around me willing to do that. Same with you. Like you essentially, people don't know this. I wish I had a picture, but when I moved to Southern California, you were fucking clean cut, square jaw, looked like you were about to join the Marine Corps. I don't think you'd ever even gotten drunk when I moved down there. And now this is the result.
Hey, I have a picture. It's my only like senior picture, but I'll fucking send it to you and you can.
All right, I'm going to wave my arms right now so I know what part of the show when I'm going through editing.
Abracadabra.
Yeah. And poof, there it is. Wait, there it is. Whatever corner it's going to be in. All right. I don't know if you heard this one, but you remember the Nashville shooter? This was months ago now. It was the trans shooter that shot up the Catholic school. Maybe it was a Christian school. Yep. I don't know. And they refused to release the manifesto. And this is something they always do right away, especially when they can use it for gun control. You know, if there's some crazy right-winger who said something racist 10 years ago, you're going to see that right away. And they completely fucking shut this one out. Just to give a little bit of taste of what the media was like and what the reaction to this was, here's an example of one of the inmates running the asylum and her take on the Nashville shooter.
I wonder if the parents of the victims of the Nashville shooting today would still have their children if these trans bills in Tennessee were never a thing. I'm not a parent, but if I were, I'd be real mad at the government. I'd be real mad at the government.
Yeah, so that had nothing to do with a psychopath shooting up a school. It was the government's fault for not allowing you to chop your son's penis off or deboob your daughter when she's 8 years old.
Yeah.
That's the reason. And that was essentially how the corporate press covered it. They got really pissed off when conservatives were dead naming her. Oh my God. Or I guess it was a him. I don't know. I think it was originally a female to male. So they were dead naming the murderer. And that was the problem. So this week we got the manifesto. How long? Holy crap. We're going 30 minutes already. Well, I guess I just led into it. So let's go into the report.
Breaking news this noon hour. A conservative talk show host claims he's released documents related to the Covenant School shooting here in Nashville. We know Stephen Crowder is the host of Louder with Crowder. He released 3 photos of writings in notebooks. Crowder claims they're actual images of the shooter's writings. Metro Police say they are aware of the photos. They're receiving calls about them. We talked with police. Right now, they are not confirming the legitimacy of those photos. Now, our chief investigative reporter, always glad to have Jeremy Finley on with us. You've actually been reaching out to people throughout the city all morning. So what have you learned? What are you hearing right now?
So what all of us are doing is we're watching our phones because Metro Police, when they authenticate information, they put it out on Twitter, what used to be known as Twitter. Right. And I literally just checked moments ago. There is nothing new about this.
So this is their chief investigative reporter who, has had how many months to get a hold of this manifesto? And you know what I'm doing is I'm checking that cell phone. I'm just waiting for the police department to tweet about it.
Yeah.
That's no wonder you didn't get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the state of journalism. I've been checking the phone. I called the police department. They told me to check the phone. I called the mayor's office. She told me to check the phone. And that's about it. Wild. I couldn't believe when he said that. Oh, yeah. And just no hint of embarrassment.
Dude,
this is just how you do investigative journalism these days. This is just the job.
It's like a fucking scene out of Idiocracy right there.
It really is, right?
It's brutal.
And I had another video. We're not going to play it because we're fucking running pretty long. But apparently, not even the fucking parents have seen this manifesto. So the police wanted this thing under wraps so bad that they wouldn't even give it to the parents because they were scared that they were going to leak it. That's fucking dirty. I mean, this was an adult, so I guess there is a little bit of wiggle room where it's it's, this is your adult child. You're not able to see everything. But I mean, you got the fucking notebook and you're not going to show them what. I thought that was wild. Anyways, the manifesto, which is just 3 pages, reads like it was written by that fucking girl that we just played. It's, Death Day. I can't even read it. I can't believe it's here. I didn't know I was waiting for this, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but excited too. Been excited for the past 2 weeks. And it just goes on. At one point, it's, talking about white people and think she called them crackers at one point. The weirdest thing to me about this was, I don't know if you looked at this. I don't know if you noticed, but these 3 pages come from different notebooks.
Well, that's
one of the
what
notebooks
I thought.
is
Yeah. It was
one
it
of
was
the
like
notebooks is a
diaries
spiral ring.
Yeah.
So one of these is a spiral ring, and the other one is a rip out. So I don't know. Is this a multi-notebook manifesto? Is this
that's
3
what I was
pages
gathering.
cherry-picked from a manifesto? Like, so what the hell is going on here? Do we have a 200-page manifesto? Do we have a 3-page manifesto? Is this a hoax? I wouldn't be surprised if this is also a hoax, you know?
Well, that honestly, that's my first. When there's any of these, you know, shooter incidents, I don't even like calling them, like, you know, mass murders or whatever the fuck. When there's an incident like this, and then how, you know, whatever the case may be, I just am so suspicious of whatever kind of manifesto or whatever notes or information that they try to put out after the fact, because you know, this would be a great way to Las Vegas shooter. You know, you get all the information after the fact of what was in the hotel room, what went on. Oh, they don't have video of him carrying suitcase after suitcase after suitcase of assault rifles and ammo and stuff. How did he get it up there? And all that other bullshit.
Yeah. And this is a great way to discredit independent media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, if we're CNN maybe, and we got a bone to pick with Crowder, we don't like him. He talks too much shit about us. He makes us look stupid all the time. Let's write out some fake pages, send it over. And you know, according to him, like I listened to his interview with him, they say that they came from Nashville detectives and they checked it with 2 detectives. I don't know. I would have I don't think I would have had any red flags pop up on it if it didn't come out of 2 separate notebooks. I think that's weird.
It's suspicious, but I'm sure, you know.
Sure. But that's what I mean. Also, like, say this is just 3 random pages out of 2 notebooks.
Yeah.
So then is it really a manifesto? Is it just 3 you know what I mean? So like I have a problem with this one. I do. I've got a problem with the whole fucking thing. Like, I'm not going Alex Jones and saying that it didn't happen or anything like that, but this story is weird to me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, it's for sure.
But the way that I got one here from the head investigative journalist, who was very proud of his investigation going into this, interviewed Steven Crowder. So I pulled just one little clip from it. It's interesting.
I mean, I will say, as one of the reporters that wants to see all of the writing, my goal has always been to see all of the writings so I could put that into context. What you have gotten is a couple pages.
Okay.
And so I do think there is a bit of criticism here that what you put out is just a sliver of the story and doesn't give the whole story. And that's what's dangerous.
So did you ever have access to any pages?
So that's what's dangerous. You cherry picked 3 pages and you're the dangerous one.
Yeah.
Crazy. And this is popping up all throughout the media. This is dangerous. It's cherry picking. It's reframing of the situation, you know. What possible reason could you have for holding on to this thing? It just makes no frickin' sense. But I got one more here. Let's just finish this guy.
Access to any pages? Any pages? I'm saying, well, I know you want all of them, but
did you review what I have seen as well? But I will tell you that I don't have all of the writings. I do not have that.
Do you have any writings?
Again, I
that guy's face, man.
He doesn't have shit. I've got to protect my sources. Wait a minute. We asked if you had pages. We didn't ask about the sourcage for those pages. This guy doesn't have shit. He wanted to go on there and stand on his soapbox and tell Steven Crowder that he's a bad conservative and that you should really let the professionals do the job here. I'm the professional. I've sued. I mean, look, I sat down and politely wrote out a lawsuit and gave it to the government, and they told me to go fuck myself. But that's journalism. What you did is dangerous. It's wild. Unreal. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. There was a... Steven Crowder got an email from the New York Times on this. Hi there, my name is Emily Cochran, and I'm a reporter with the New York Times. Good for you. I'm working on a story about Mr. Crowder's publication of the Covenant writings, and just left a press conference where one parent, Brent Leatherwood, was critical of the decision to publish the photos. He described it as chasing clicks at one point, and said that proceeds from the videos should go to the families of the 6 victims and or school. I'm going to predict already, they're going to sue him. They're going to sue him. They're going to say, they're going to get some ambulance chasing lawyer to come in and go, did you watch the Alex Jones case? We can do that. And to be honest, like before the Alex Jones case, I would say they've got nothing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Maybe it could just be this long drawn out thing, but it's going to waste a bunch of money, but it's not really going to. Now I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sued for this. And again, like that would be the setup. That would be the setup. And maybe those, cops that he talked to check the diary, maybe they're in on the setup.
Yeah.
We can break you off a chunk. We'll donate it to your, to your sick nephew that you don't actually have. I don't know. It's wild. It's wild. Anyways, what time have we got here? I've got a couple more stories here. Let's see. Let's do a dealer's choice, huh? What do we got? We got Ukraine. Tactical. All right, we'll do a little Ukraine. Why the fuck not? Not Ukraine. The other one. The other one. So here's a video of that. You remember the girl we just listened to about the shooter? Here she is 40 years later.
Ceasefire and what? Ceasefire and what? These animals are going to release the hostages? And then what? Then what happens? Do we sit down and have some coffee? Ceasefire and what?
Yeah, dude. That's called fucking diplomacy. It's called negotiations. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. You stop shooting and you sit down with some coffee and say, how do we end this without violence? That's exactly what you do.
More violence, yeah. Negotiate.
And it's wild that they can. Yeah. And it's just wild to me that, like, Michael Rappaport's the worst. Dude,
I was trying to remember that guy's
I didn't
name.
have time. Yeah, dude. He's fucking Michael Rappaport's herpy. Like, I could go back and find. I didn't do it because I'm lazy, but I could go back and find so many clips of him calling Trump a racist, and I guarantee he made a video about Trump's Muslim ban and just yelling and screaming, Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist. Like, how quick for him to flip and call Arabs animals. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's really telling about these fucking liberals is as soon as the shoe's on another foot, they're the most racist fucking people on the planet. They are. Like, could you imagine if we were calling, I don't know, black people and Black Lives Matters animals? We go, oh my God, can you believe these animals burned down a Walmart? And you go, yeah, I can believe it. And I go, yeah, me too. Because they're animals. But no, like, we would get so much shit for that. Yeah. And I don't think you should really give all that much shit. If you act like an animal, you should be fucking treated as such. But if you're treated like an animal, you should not be surprised when that animal bites you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very true.
So I just thought that was fucking beautiful. What are you supposed to do? Just cease fire and have coffee? Yeah. Yeah. Lindsey Graham's back. He's back and better than ever. He's really in his element, you know. Get the boys out there in their camos and they're doing the jumping jacks and they're going to head over there and kill some Arabs.
For you, and do you think there should be one for the United States government, at which the U.S. would say, let's hold off for a second in terms of civilian casualties? Is there a point at which you would start to question?
Of course not.
If somebody asked us after World War II, is there a limit what you would do to make sure that Japan and Germany don't conquer the world? Is there any limit what Israel should do to the people who are trying to slaughter the Jews? The answer is no. There is no limit, but here's what you need to do. Be smart. Let's try to limit civilian casualties the best we can. Let's put humanitarian aid in areas to protect the innocent. I'm all for that, but this idea that Israel has to apologize for attacking Hamas,
kill innocent civilians
their own
more intelligently,
needs to stop. The goal is to destroy Hamas. Hamas is creating these casualties, not Israel.
I don't think anyone.
We didn't fire the rockets. You made us.
And we really need to make sure that we're firing Raytheon rockets. Like, they're getting some of these janky things. You know, they're buying parts from over here. We really need to make sure that there's military defense money going on here. Like, this is great for American jobs. Raytheon hired 40 people last week. Isn't that incredible?
That's
40
great.
new jobs.
That's fantastic.
I mean, look at what this is doing for our economy. It's incredible. Jeez. He's just the worst. Nah, there's no limit. Who cares? You know, I think the death toll is around 8,000 right now. Last I looked, and that was like days ago. And again, you can't really trust the numbers coming out of Gaza. You know, I saw a picture or a video earlier today with a bunch of dead Israelis or dead Palestinians laying out in the street. And then one of them adjusted the towel laying over their body to look more dead.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, fuck.
So it's like, it's wild. I'll send it. I'll see if I can find it. Fucking Twitter's just the worst. It's so hard to find anything on there. But yeah, dude, it was wild. You're just watching and it's doing like the slow pan, and then it just starts, the guy's just moving all the shit around and then goes back to being dead. So like, you know, I don't know how many people are dying in Gaza, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. That's war propaganda for you. You can't believe anything you see from either side, especially in something like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
It's
honestly, it makes me sad because I honestly kind of feel real numb to a lot of this shit that I I see going on
I completely
overseas,
agree.
like the Hawaii fires. That I feel more about than anything about Ukraine, anything about Israel or Gaza, any of that bullshit. But then then I'm sad. Then I'm sad that Ukraine and Israel apparently are more important than Hawaii, and it doesn't make sense. And
like,
oh man,
you can't just overload yourself with war porn,
right?
You know, like it's intellectually, I know what's happening over there.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I know people are being fucking murdered, just completely fucking murdered. They don't give a shit about you know, civilians. I really don't think they give a shit. I don't think the common soldier cares. I don't think the commanding officer cares. I really think that they consider these people to be animals, and they're out there to exterminate. Like, we are going in. This is an old house. We've let the neighbors, you know, live in it for too long. We had a crack house across the street from my house, or down the street from my house when I moved here. And, you know, people would live in it and they get kicked out, and then they go to jail, and then some more people move in and you turn into a crack house again. And pretty soon everybody's kicked out of the house and the house is condemned. People are still living in the house. It's like, all right, we're going to go into the house. We're going to destroy and this is what happened. My neighbor bought the house plowed it down, and built a barn on top of it to park his tractors in. That's what's going to happen in Gaza. We're sick of this crack house. It's a fucking nightmare for our entire neighborhood. It's causing crime. You know, people are dying. I think people died there. You know, it's just an eyesore. It smells. It's disgusting. And we need to go and just level it, get the undesirables out, and make a nice barn. And I mean, this is a nice barn. It's a nice barn. I'm sure there will be some nice barns in Gaza in the next couple years. You know, maybe a shopping mall, maybe even like an amusement park. I bet you could put an amusement park down there on the coast and clear out all the mines. And you might step on a grenade every now and then. But I mean, we're talking beachfront property here. Yeah. Yeah. On a nice beach. This is a nice beach, you know? It'd be a really nice beach if there weren't all these dirty, smelly people on it trying to wash themselves and cook food. Ugh. Get them out of there. So Wolf Blitzer had, I don't know who he is. He's like one of the heads of the IDF. I don't know. You know, maybe he's a general. He's got a tag, and they've got a bunch of squiggly little lines on it. I'm sure it means something. Let's see how they're actually doing. You know, Lindsey Graham told us they're doing the best they can. I know they're doing the best they can. I'm not worried about it. They're gonna limit the casualties.
But even if that Hamas commander was there amidst all those Palestinian refugees who are in that Jabalia refugee camp, Israel still went ahead and dropped a bomb there, attempting to kill this Hamas commander, knowing that a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children, presumably would be killed. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not what you're hearing, Wolf. We're focused on this commander, again, who you'll get more data who this man was. Killed many, many Israelis. We're doing everything we can. It's a very complicated battle space. There could be infrastructure there. There could be tunnels there. We're still looking into it, and we'll give you more data as the hour moves ahead.
So, you knew the guy was in the refugee camp. Am I hearing that you dropped the bomb anyways? No, that's not what you're hearing. There's infrastructure. There's tunnels. There could be some weird stuff going on down there. And this is a bad guy. Killed many Jews, many Israelis.
But you know that there are a lot of refugees, a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children in that refugee camp as well, right?
This is the tragedy of war, Wolf. I mean, as you know, we've been saying for days, move south. Civilians that are not involved with Hamas, please move south.
I'm just trying to get a little bit more information. You knew there were civilians there. You knew there were refugees, all sorts of refugees, but you decided to still drop a bomb on that refugee camp, attempting to kill the Hamas commander. By the way, was he killed?
I can't confirm yet.
We don't even know.
Maybe. We know that he was killed. About the civilians there, we're doing everything we can to minimize.
Didn't he say that he can't confirm and then said that he was killed?
Yeah. So the guy's not dead. They have no fucking clue.
This guy's a nobody. This guy's a patsy. This guy's probably like lowest of the low, or not even in the fucking military.
Yeah. Bibi Netanyahu's standing off 3 feet away from him with a gun pointed at his head.
Sure. For sure. Yeah.
Somebody.
Yep. You fuck up, you're dead. Well, you're dead anyway, but if you fuck up, we're going to shoot you.
Exactly. All right, let's finish this guy off.
Kill the Hamas commander. By the way, was he killed?
I can't confirm yet. There'll be more updated. Yes, we know that he was killed. About the civilians there, we're doing everything we can to minimize. I'll say it again. Sadly, they are hiding themselves within civilian population. And again, we are doing this stage by stage, and we're going to go after every one of these terrorists who was involved in that heinous attack on the 7th of October. Wolf.
If you know, when these terrorists
Lieutenant Colonel,
when these terrorists move into your neighborhood, you better just move out because we're going to drop a bomb on them.
Yeah.
So
It's
when they
like,
move in, you move out.
Yeah, to the place with no power, no no electricity, no food, no water. And it's like, hey, Wolf, we could have dropped a much bigger bomb, We dropped a little bomb instead. Crazy. It's just wild. When you're too much of a war pig for CNN, shit's just going crazy. Like, these are the war pigs. And even CNN's just like, wait a minute. You just dropped a bomb on a group of refugees and you don't even know if you killed the guy? My God, it's sick. It's like, how could you even drop the bomb if you didn't know you were going to kill the guy? But, this is Barack Obama did this over and over
Yeah,
again.
that's what I was going to say.
There was that one guy that Barack Obama killed, and when they asked about it, I think he said he should have had a better father.
Oh, fuck.
That's cold, right?
Yeah.
And I believe he was speaking about an American citizen there.
Oh, shit.
It's really something.
Maybe Big Mike should have been his daddy.
Absolutely. All right. Last video of the night. This one really cracked me up. I fucking caught it right before showtime, so I had to send it to your Instagram. I knew you'd get a kick out of it. This is college. Let's go to this college student. I don't even know how to really preface this. This is so incredible. And it fit into the episode so perfectly because we've got Neil deGrasse Tyson, just a cuck of a teacher. Like, these students just own him. Like, that girl who was talking about the trans shooter, she's standing 3 feet away from Neil deGrasse Tyson with a gun to his head. Like, you better tell Bill Maher that I'm allowed to beat the shit out of this girl that I'm fighting next week. All right, here we go.
I'm a high school graduate and I work in the Marine Corps.
I'm 30 years old. I have my PhD in cancer biology and I work in a biotech industry. Grad school, I went to University of South Carolina, and undergrad, I went to University of Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2.
For those just listening, what she was doing there was ranking who she thought had the highest IQ out of the 6 of them. And yeah.
Me, I don't know. PhD, cancer biology scientist. I work in a biotech company. We make COVID-19 testing kits, stuff like that. Then 6. It has nothing to do with your background. I don't think you really have the highest EQ out of all of us. Tyler, he ranked last for me personally because the way he carries himself. He was ranking intelligence based on his point of view and not taking in other people's point of views.
So he was using reality as a basis for intelligence. So obviously he's a fucking moron.
Clearly. As soon as she said, I would have actually thought maybe she was, middle of the pack until she said, we make COVID-19 testing kits and stuff like that.
And she's doing the whole fucking dance thing. Like, I'm so hot. Yeah. I'm so smart. I got this great job. Yeah. I make so much money.
I make tests.
I'm so much better.
That don't
look
even
at
fucking
this
work.
High school grad who's in the Marines.
Yeah.
Ew, gross.
Yeah.
Like, look at the way he carries himself.
Look at this non-cis straight white male.
Look at this straight white male just destroying society.
Disgusting.
Number 1 is Raymond. Number 2 would be Kaylee.
He's so white.
Number 3 will be Tyler. And number 4 would be Shada. Number 5 is Sean. And number 6 is Maria.
Woo! She's got a 112 IQ. She's a fucking midwit. She's not smart at all. Which did not surprise me a bit because I can't tell you how many of these girls I went to college with. That's my college classes right there. Is this stupid fucking bimbo thinking that they're just so smart, and then you've got a teacher who coddles them like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think we covered it on the show where like I got in trouble for calling climate change psychopaths, cultists, and like the teacher had to come in and say like, climate change is proven science and you can't say things that aren't true and blah, 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 blah. She even started with, I don't usually comment on students' posts, but I feel that I had to step in and give some clarity on the subject. And it's like crazy. And the funny thing is like, I was retorting somebody who said that Christianity is a cult.
Yeah.
So she had no fucking problem with him calling, how many Americans do you think are Christians? Probably 100 million, a third of the country.
Yeah.
So they're in a cult. That's no problem. No need to refute that or rebuff that. Like, that's actually good. You know, we got to get rid of these straight white male Christians who are destroying the planet. I love it, dude. These college students are morons. You're putting a bunch of morons into a room together and just letting them tell each other how great they are without ever correcting anything that anyone says, unless it's something like what I say. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can talk like that all day in there and nobody will give a shit. Nobody will even read your fucking posts. But if you say something that rocks the boat, you're instantly called out like, oh, the reason that you think this way is because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, great. I'm so glad that you can explain why I believe what I do, you know?
Yeah.
And most of the time, like, can't even steel man your argument. Like, that's one thing I was good at in college because I'm so in tune with all the shit that's going on that, like, I can steel man these arguments all day. I could, like, sometimes for fun, I would just write as a climate change psycho and just say, like, I bet I can do it better than this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just boring after a while. But this is, you know, the professional class in America. All these people just think that they are so much smarter than the rest of us that without them, we would just be kicking and screaming and scratching each other, and you know, the world would be at odds and everything in America would be perfect if we were gone. And that's what you got Neil Degrass Tyson for. It's great. It's great. Like, I can't wait because Neil Degrass Tyson has a traditional education. So imagine when like some of these people get into their 30s and 40s, because a lot of these college professors, some of them are really like into this shit, but most of them are just converts. They're new members of the cult, and they've just all like taken in all this woke bullshit in the last few years. The people who've been taught it from birth, they're going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
In the next 20 years. I mean, they're going to be just all kinds of fun.
When reality actually sets in.
Yeah, like I've been saying with these climate change psychopaths, what happens when you've got 8 years of another, let's say Biden gets another term, and then we go 8 more years of Democrats after him, and we're still producing more oil and coal every year than we did the previous year, and nothing has changed. Mm-hmm. What are they going to do then?
They're going to change the name.
Yeah, that's a good point. They've done that before.
Yep.
You know, global cooling, global warming, climate change. I guess maybe, let's see, what would it be? They've got climate chaos.
Atmospheric instability.
Ooh, I like it. And on that, we're going to call it a night. Have a good night, everybody. Subscribe to our fucking YouTube channel already, you degenerate dicks.